Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. So, motion by Alderman Hope, there's a second. Second by Alderman Williams, in discussion. All first, by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Item E, looking for a motion to approve minutes, September 11, 2023, regular session.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Williams, there's a second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Robinson, any discussion? All first, by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Item F, looking for a motion to approve of warrants, September, October, for the amount of $183,884.91.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Williams, for a second. Second by Alderwoman Wilkins. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. We go to item G, mayor report. Just have a few items. I'd like to thank everybody that attended the R&R Marketplace grand opening that took place last month. A very successful event, great turnout, thanks to the board and the community who all showed up. We still have some quite a few things to happen over there before things open up, but it's just slowly but surely open up. Most of the businesses over there, and just we haven't had a chance to go over. Please take some time to go over, just kind of see what's going on over the marketplace. Also, on October 21st, there will be a community cleanup. We're gonna have 2 big dumpsters at the rec center. So if you have any large items that you need to get dumped, you have to get them up to the rec center. They'll be up there all day on October the 21st. So now's the time to clean your garage, anything you need to get rid of, any large items, that will be the day. Again, that's October the 21st. No tires, no electronics. So you got the old TV, you cannot bring it there. So you need couches, things of that sort of furniture, big items you can bring that day. Also, on October 31st, as you know, we host our big annual Halloween party, which we still going to be hosting in conjunction with the Mr. Johnson Foundation. They have chosen to still be active with the foundation, so we're partnering with them once again, and we expect a large turnout. So if you are available to come out and hang out with the kids, welcome to do so on October 31st. 5 o'clock. No, 5 to 7, 5 to 7. That is for my report. We go to item 18, board announcements.
Mr. Chairman?
Alderwoman Carter.
Yes, I would just like to report out that the board for Unity in the Park, Alder House and myself was a successful turnout, and we'd just like to thank the mayor, city clerk, Gail, and Administrator Terry Wilson for helping us with that event. It was very successful and a great turnout. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board announcements? If not, we'll go to item I, new business, city administrator report, Terry Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, board. Good evening, residents of Dellwood. Happy to announce that we are in the last phase of our notification. We just gave approval for them to move forward. So I talked to you guys earlier about our codes being moved to online. And so hopefully we'll be coming out of that soon. Also, I spoke with the demolition company. You all approved the demolition a few months ago. That should be taking place within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I spoke to them and I told them, I said, I just need to hear your voice so I can get an update. So that should be coming down soon as well. And then the mayor mentioned the cleanup already. And so it's been a busy September, and it's going to be even busier October. So I appreciate y'all's support, and thank you residents for attending tonight.
And those 2 houses for demolition are on Bradshaw and High. Just so everyone knows those 2 houses. Thank you. Alderman Williams.
You said on Bradshaw and what?
High.
Oh,
Okay, item B, police report, Lieutenant Thompson.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, for the month of September, we had 28 alarm calls, 4 assault reports, 7 accidental injuries, 2 arrests were made, 13 auto accidents, 2 burglary reports, 10 check the welfare calls, 21 disturbance calls, 7 stolen vehicles, 8 larceny reports, 1 call for missing person, 1 call for missing juvenile, 4 open door calls, 1 ordinance violation, 9 property damage reports, 57 sick cases, 13 suspicious persons, 12 calls for shots heard, 20 suspicious vehicles in the area, and we had 433 traffic violations written and 128 overnight parking violations. That's the 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. And 5 911 hangups, brought us to a total of 617 calls for service for the month of September. Neighborhood Watch, we had youth in need that attended Neighborhood Watch, and they basically explained what the program is about, how they reach out and help juveniles, and, and if we get juveniles that have no place to go, we got a 24-hour number to call them and make contact with someone to help these juveniles out. There was 9 citizens that attended, and Chief came in, he spoke about, we're gonna get that speed sign within another week or so, and we're gonna place it on West Florissant for a week, and then Chambers for a week to, people see how fast they're going, it might slow them down. And we got other things we're putting in place, we already have traffic unit up here twice a week. And it's other things that we're doing to try to curtail all these accidents. And as you know, we had the fatality on Chambers the other day. So we try to do what we can to cut down on it. And that wasn't a speeding, that was a DWI. So, but we're doing what we can do, and soon they're gonna be redoing West Florissant anyway, in part of Chambers. And that's like next year, in September next year, they're gonna start that process.
Lieutenant, what I'd like to request next month's meeting, I would like for Officer Butler
Okay,
to come to report for the board, who's a nuisance officer.
okay,
I think it's important that the board know what he's doing and what he's accomplished. It'd be amazing once we find out, what he has done as far as addressing
it's a
nuisance.
long list, that.
No, but not all of it, but
Okay,
but
just
the
the
main-
key
just the main,
things, okay, yeah.
he's really been great as far as when there are problems and dealing with, so we say, gotta get him out.
Yeah.
And he's been very successful in doing it. And so, I would like him to come to the board next month just to give some general update on what he's doing so far.
No problem.
Any questions, Lieutenant?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Alderman Johnson?
Lieutenant,
Yes, ma'am.
what's so funny?
Nothing.
I'd just like to know, were any of the property damage, crimes, initiated in Ward 1?
Yes,
And were
a
they-
couple of them.
I'm sorry?
Yes, a few of them,
A
yes.
few of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Did it involve any teenagers?
Most of our property damages are teenagers, yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you may want to see me after the meeting because I've gotten some comments from residents in my ward about incidents on their property involving teens.
Okay, all right.
You have a question, Lieutenant? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
We'll go to item C, a special event permit. This is a permit for a special field 3 basketball event that will take place on the parking lot of the R&R Marketplace. Our change is 303, for motion to approve.
So
Motion made by Alderman Johnson, is there a second? Second by Alderman Williams, any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
Alderwoman Johnson,
yes.
Alderman Robinson,
Yes.
Alderwoman Wilkins,
Yes.
Alderwoman Carter, Alderman Holt.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. And now we'll go to item J. We have a special guest here. We have Mr. Jake Zimmerman, who's the St. Louis County Assessor. If you don't know, St. Louis County only has 3 citywide elected positions. One, of course, is the county executive. One is the prosecutor, and the other one is state assessor, county assessor. And so Jacob has taken time out of his schedule today to come and address us. And I've asked him to, you'll get a lot of questions now because everybody has gotten their reassessment and has a lot of questions and concerns. And so I asked Mr. Zimmerman to come out, just give a brief update on how that happens and what are your ways to kind of fight the process if you want to. So no further ado, let Mr. Jake Zimmerman come.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Alderwomen and Aldermen, and citizens of Dellwood. So, real quick, what's the actual job that you elected me to do? According to Missouri law, my job is to identify and classify all real and personal property throughout St. Louis County. What does that mean in real language? What that means in real language is you own stuff. And my job is to identify the stuff, place the stuff on a map, and tell you what I think the stuff would sell for if you had sold the stuff on January 1st. That's it. That's the whole job. And there's 2 kinds of stuff. And I said it before, right? Real property and personal property. Real property is stuff that doesn't move. Real property is dirt and things that stay on top of dirt and don't move. Personal property is everything else. So for most normal people, unless you happen to have a private airplane in a hangar over Lambert, right? For most normal people, your real property is your house and your personal property is your car. There's a whole bunch of other things. Horses are personal property too, but I don't imagine many people tonight care a lot about horses. So my job is to maintain the parcel map of St. Louis County that identifies every single piece of property in this county, all the houses, all of the dirt, when they sold, how much they sold for, what they look like on the map, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms there are, and so on, and every single car that's owned by anybody in this county. And then come up with our very best estimate of if you had sold it on exactly January 1st, what do we think you would have got for it? Now, what is the word that I did not say in any of that? There's one really big word that everybody thinks is my job, right? But I didn't say it. It's the T word. I'm not in charge of the taxes. For better or for worse, that's y'all's job, right? And it's the fire district's job, and it's the school district's job, right? You and a whole lot of other elected officials like you have the very important and controversial job of deciding how much the tax rate should be and deciding how much taxes to collect to pay for your city services, to pay for this hall, and more than you guys, the big bucks is the school district. More than anything else, when you pay that property tax bill and you write that check to St. Louis County at the end of the year, that money's not going to St. Louis County, and it's mostly not going to the city of Dellwood either. Overwhelmingly, it's going to the school district. In most of St. Louis County, the biggest piece of your property tax bill comes from the school district. The second, by far, is the fire department. And everything after that is pennies by comparison. But that is not my job. And that's really, really important because there's a whole lot of people sitting here and a whole lot more people living in Dellwood. And some of them want you to raise more taxes to have better city services and more robust parks and spend more money on the North County Police Cooperative. And they want the school district to pass a bond issue to hire more teachers or to build new buildings. And there are other people out there, and there are other people sitting here who don't want ever to see another bond issue as long as they live. And they want you to lower that tax rate, and they want the school district to lower that tax rate. And that is democracy. But the job that all of you are paying me to do is a really important one, which is to make sure that you get treated fairly compared to your neighbor, which means that St. Louis County is trying to come up with its best guess of what your house really looks like and of what your house really could have sold for in January. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to be right about everybody else's house, but wrong about yours. Because we're pretty good on average, right? I can look at all the real estate sales across St. Louis County, and I can tell you what houses are doing. And I'll tell you what houses are doing. They're selling for a lot more today than they did last year, than they did 2 years ago, than they did 3 or 4 years ago. And that's a good problem to have, because I was also the county assessor in 2011. I remember life in a real estate crisis. I was talking to Mayor Jones before we came in here. I remember when the entire Riverview Gardens School District, all the houses in the whole school district, lost half of their value in 1 year. The typical person after the foreclosure crisis saw their home worth 40 to 60% less in parts of North St. Louis County compared to what it was 2 years before. I don't ever want to live through that again, and I think neither does anybody else here. But now we have a different set of opportunities and a different set of challenges when you live in a good real estate market. For the last few years, especially starting with the pandemic, owning your own home became a more and more valuable thing. And more people wanted to buy than could buy. More people who couldn't get a loan because going back to the foreclosure crisis, they were stuck in mom and dad's basement, or they're working that first job, or they're just out of school and they're trying to save up for the down payment. And the prices kept getting higher and higher and higher. And we've seen over the last few years, it's great news. If you are a senior citizen and you own your own home and you've paid off the mortgage and the biggest investment of your life is worth more than it used to be, that's great news. It's great news for you, and it's great news for the city of Dellwood, and it's great news for all of St. Louis County, and especially for schools and public safety. Strong home values means safer neighborhoods. Strong home values means the kind of places that owner-occupants want to live in. Strong home values means more people staying in their homes instead of landlords and out-of-state investors and speculators buying up property on the cheap when it gets foreclosed on. But it also means that when the home values are going up, there's a lot of people who take a look at that home value and wonder and worry about what the property tax bill is going to be at the end of the year. Now, all of you know the Hancock Amendment, and the school district knows it well, and the fire department knows it well. And you all know that if you want to raise more money, you have to pass a tax increase, or you have to pass a bond issue. And that's the same thing the school district has to do, and the same thing the fire department has to do. And that is between you and the citizens, and that's between the school district and the citizens. But when people see in the mail that letter from me that comes once every 2 years that says, oh, hey, your house is worth whatever it is more than it used to be worth. Your house used to be worth $80,000 and now it's worth $110,000, or whatever the number may be. People understandably look at that and they get pretty scared. And I get it, because a lot of people assume, oh my God, if the house just went up in value 20%, well, my taxes are going to go up 20%, right? And of course, that's not really how it works. If every house in Dellwood went up 20% last year, that's not what actually happened, of course, but just imagine that everybody's house went up exactly 20%. So what would happen to everybody's taxes? They'd stay about the same, because y'all would have to cut your tax rate about 20% so that you take the same amount of money. And the same with the school district, and the same with the fire department, unless you do a bond issue, unless you go to the people and ask them for more money. So the most important thing for citizens to understand, and that you can help people understand when you talk to them, is that the thing you want is you want to make sure that St. Louis County is right about what your house actually looks like. Because the way that you get treated wrong, just to be blunt, the way you get screwed as a homeowner is not because, oh, hey, houses are going up in value and everybody's house is worth more than it used to. If everybody's house is worth more than it used to, that's just straight up good news. The way you get screwed is if I have the wrong information about your house, and I think that your house looks just like the remodeled one next door, and I think that you're in excellent condition and has a shiny new kitchen, and I think that it's 2,000 square feet when it's really 1,400 square feet because the basement flooded and it's uninhabitable, right? Or because you need a new roof and you need a new HVAC system, and you've got an estimate from the contractor, and the estimate says this will be $20,000, and you say, I don't have $20,000, so all I have is a leaky roof, right? You know that, and I probably don't. Because as good a job as we try to do, and I'm sure all of you have seen my people out ringing doorbells in the community, knocking on doors and taking a look at properties. A lot of times we don't know what's going on inside because, you know, who wants a St. Louis County bureaucrat to come inside their house? And we don't come in unless you invite us. So the most important thing to help citizens understand is that if we are wrong about the information about your house, about the number of bathrooms, the year it was built, the condition it is in, at the end of the day, that'll translate to us having the wrong value. Our job is to guess at what it will sell for, and we make that guess based on what other houses have sold for. So we're trying to figure out every home that has sold in Dellwood and every home that has sold in the surrounding area. And then we try to see which of those houses your house looks like. So if we're wrong about your house, then we'll compare you to the wrong sales, and then we'll get the wrong answer. So every 2 years, we just finished doing this, right? Back in the spring, we sent everybody that letter. And then everybody has an opportunity to come in and talk to us. And if they don't agree with what we have to say, then you can come and talk to the St. Louis County Board of Equalization. And the other really important thing for people to know, that process is over with now. That's done for this year. But anybody who didn't do it this year and who thinks that we're wrong about their house still has the option to come back and do it next year. The most other important thing for people to know, because that sounds scary. It sounds like lawyers. It sounds like a formal process. It sounds like, you know, showing up at court to fight your traffic ticket. And it isn't. The county's Board of Equalization is 3 people who don't work for me. They're appointed by Sam Page. They work for the county executive. And their only job is to sit there and be neutral and give a neutral opinion if a property owner disagrees with the county assessor's office or thinks we got something wrong. So the thing to do is not to ever wait until you get the tax bill in December. Because when you get the tax bill in December, it's too late. Right now, as I'm standing here, if you think we got it wrong for this year and you didn't speak up a few months ago, for this year, it's too late. And so the most important thing to tell your constituents and people you know in the community is when that piece of paper comes in the mail, don't ignore it. Because it says right on the top in big letters, it says, this is not a bill. And so a lot of people say, okay, this isn't a bill, so I'm not going to worry about it, right? But that's the time you got to look at it. Because that's the thing that says what I think your house looks like and what I think it would sell for. And if that looks wrong, if we're wrong about your house, that's when you got to say something. That's when, if you see something, say something. And oftentimes what we'll say is, we need to see what the evidence is, right? You say that your kitchen doesn't look so hot. We need to see pictures of it. You say that the roof is caving in. We need to see pictures of that. Or you think that we compared you to the wrong house sales, so we need to see the other property that's sold in the neighborhood that you think yours looks like. And that's all that the Board of Equalization process is. It's just showing up with that very simple evidence and showing it to somebody who's not me and who's not one of my employees so that they can give you the independent opinion. So that's sort of the brief overview of what we do in hopes of demystifying it a little bit, because the most important thing to understand, I keep saying the most important thing, but the one thing, like if you take nothing else away from what I'm saying here tonight, it's this. There are lawyers in better suits than mine in this town who are very well paid and whose only job is to help commercial property owners through this process. So if they own an office building in Clayton and I say it's worth 10 million and they think it's only worth 5 million, they got all of the tax representatives and all the guys in the Gucci suits in the world to come in and fight for them. But if a citizen of Dellwood, if we make a mistake and the citizen doesn't catch it, there is no lawyer in a Gucci suit waiting to hold us accountable, which means you as public servants and you as concerned community members, you have to do this job, not just for yourselves, but for your neighbors who might throw that piece of paper away, who might not take the time to just go on the internet, go to the county website and look up your property. It takes 5 minutes to go to our website and just take a quick look. We've got more information about your house than maybe you realize. We've got a sketch of what every floor looks like, the exact number of square feet we think it is, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, when it was built. And it's not just about your taxes. If the day ever comes when you want to sell, where's your realtor going to go to get the information for the listing? They're going to go to my website. That's where they get the information. If you go to Zillow.com to see what it thinks your house is worth, where do they get that from? They get that from us. So if we are wrong, then everything about your house in this community, as far as the community can see, is wrong. And so that's just my one request, my one ask of everybody. Talk to your friends, talk to your family. Tell them to look it up now. Above all, don't wait till the end of the year. Don't wait till the tax bills when my office can't be helpful if there is a mistake. Take a look at it early, and especially when we do that reassessment. And that's how you can help us help you. I think I've gone on long enough, so I'll just say thank you very much.
Well, any question, board? Any question, board? Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Zimmerman, for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate y'all.
For coming out.
Thank you.
Good.
And one more thing, let me just briefly introduce Xavier here from my office for the benefit of any citizens. If anybody has any specific questions about your own property or anything to come up that you need to be in touch with us about, I'm going to run off momentarily, but Xavier is going to be able to stick around. So don't be shy about giving him your contact information so that if we need to follow up with anybody individually, we can do that. All right. Thank you all very much. Thanks, sir.
All right.
Thanks, Jay.
So now we're gonna go into, an ordinance, small ordinance. We'll ask you from me. I'm gonna ask City Clerk to give bill number BL-2023 and show 9 its first reading by title only.
An ordinance revising and repealing ordinance number 0/12/2021, in part and enacting in lieu thereof a revision to said ordinance, thereby increasing the salary limit of the Director of Parks and Recreation from $50,000 to $56,000 annually.
I need a motion to give bill number BL-202309 its second reading. Motion made by Alderwoman Johnson, the second. Second by Alderman Williams, any discussion? Roll call.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Robinson.
Yes.
Alderwoman Wilkins.
Yes.
Alderwoman Carter.
Yes.
Alderman Holt.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Second reading, please.
An ordinance revising and repealing ordinance number OR-12/2021, in part and enacting in lieu thereof a revision to said ordinance, thereby increasing the salary limit of the Director of Parks and Recreation from $50,000 to $56,000 annually.
This time, I'd like to need a motion to adopt bill number BL-202309 into ordinance number ORD-9-2023. So moved. Motion made by Alderman Williams, there's a second. Second by Alderman Johnson, any discussion? Roll call.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Alderman Robinson.
Yes.
Alderwoman Wilkins.
Yes.
Alderwoman Carter.
Yes.
Alderman Holt.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, this time is the last time on the agenda, is public portion. If you have any public comments, please state your name, address, and your public comment.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Laverne Mahoney, 50 South Floridale. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Wilson for putting the property behind me on rotation. The guys came out and cut the grass. Thank you very much. Second of all, you guys recall me coming up here a couple of months about the power lines and the squirrels. I just want y'all to know, y'all near rock.
Amen.
Reggie contacted his contractor. Within 1 week, the job was done. And for people like myself who don't have a whole lot of money, but we appreciate what you do for us. Because there's a lot of people down there in that cul-de-sac couldn't afford to get taken care of. but you took care of it, and we truly, truly appreciate it.
Amen.
We really do, Mr. Mayor. Also, I think that today marks 3 years for the skating rink. Today is the day. And you guys did an outstanding job. Every time I go up and down West Florissant, there's always somebody up there taking advantage of it. So it was a very good investment. I know the city of Dellwood appreciates it, and so did I. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
You have public comments? Yeah, if not, continue motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman Johnson, the second. Second by Alderman Williams. All in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign, meeting is adjourned.
Amen. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor.